Welcome to the Path to Mindset Mastery. My name is Brad Bizjack. I am a mindset strategist and coach, inspirational speaker, and creator of Appreciation Academy. And I help you and other online business owners break through the negative self-talk, keeping you stuck so you can finally see the success that you deserve. And I'm curious, do you ever feel like you have to force your business? Like everything feels like a struggle. Like you can't come up with content to post on your social media and you're always wondering, what do I share? What do I post? And all these other people out there are sharing things with passion and excitement, and it just seems like things flow out of them. Like you understand the concept that you should add value to people's lives, but you can't get creative. And you focus so much on what results are missing from your life, and it drives you nuts. You're probably starting to get burnt out, and the idea of serving other people is overtaken by the frustration of lack of results, and you wish you could change it, but everything just feels so forced, and you can't find the energy even though you want to have it so bad. Does that sound familiar? I have totally been there. I'd sit in front of my computer going, what should I share? What should I share? What should I post? And I would freeze. And just to get something out there, I'd put up some BS content that wasn't actually inspiring, and it got no engagement and people didn't respond. And then I'd see all these other people out there just crushing it and sharing from the heart, and I'd ask for advice from those people, and they were just saying, just focus on serving your ideal customer. And I was like, okay, but what the hell does that even mean? I'm trying. And the idea of service first made me draw a blank. And my point is that everything felt forced. And after failing epically at this and studying how other leaders influence, I finally realized what my problem was. So if it's okay with you, I'd love to save you almost 7 years of struggle so you can see results way faster than I ever did. So let me ask you a question as we start this podcast today. What do you do for work? If I were to ask you that right now, what do you do for work? You might respond with, I coach people online in their health and fitness, or I sell wine, or I share my favorite makeup with others. Whatever it is, does your answer inspire you? I coach people to do this. Does it actually inspire you? Chances are you define your work by what you do. So if I were to ask you the same thing, it would look like this. If you were to ask me the same thing, it would look like this. I own an online course about mindset and personal growth. Is that inspiring? No. Will that help me come up with passion and fire and everything that I share? No, it won't. But try this one on. Try this on. If I were to say, first of all, I own a course about personal growth, it's not that inspiring. But what about this? I am on a mission to teach you how to be happy and break through the negative self-talk so you can finally get unstuck and break through everything holding you back from the dreams that you actually deserve. Can you feel a difference? One is really weak and craving validation and almost embarrassed and seeking permission, and the other is flooded with confidence and power and passion. So let's talk about ways that we can turn this around so things aren't forced. And the first is how you view your work, career, or mission. So when you look at the word work, how would you define it? How would you define that word? How would you define what you do actually? Do you have a job? Do you work? Is it your career, or is it your mission? What is your mission? Because there's a very big difference between the three of them, isn't there? Work. What do you feel when you think of the word work? You feel bored? You think of the word paycheck, you think of time suck, you think exhausted, you think trade time for money, and you think barely get by. That's at least what I feel when I think of the word work. But what about career? What do you feel when you think of the word career? It's a little more positive, right? You feel excited, you think a little bit bigger. There's more pride in how you share it, yes? That makes sense. And what about the word mission? What do you feel when you use the word mission? It's passion. It's fire, it's life, it's energy, it's everything. Momentum flows from it, right? And my point is simply this. How you view what you do directly correlates to how other people perceive you. And if you view it as just doing a job or maybe a career, it's not going to influence people to join you. And you need other people's buy-in if your business is going to go, right? You need that. So take a look at how you view your business and how you perceive it. And I'm willing to bet that the level in which you perceive your business directly correlates to the level of success you've had. It's time to up that game. How much confidence do you have behind how you share about what you do? Is it fire, or is it weak and begging to be loved? And I know this because I used to share that I did what I did because I just wanted people to maybe approve of me, so I would hold back. And a great way to do this, a great way to find how to do this, is to look at a leader in your business that you respect tremendously in the same field. Who is that for you? What qualities do they portray when sharing? And what do you respect about them? And it's so important that you take a look at that, not from a place of comparison, but just understanding, like a business analysis, because the reason people don't believe in you is because you don't believe in what you do. So it's time to up that game. How you view what you do tremendously impacts the results that you get. So it's no longer, I help people online with their health and fitness. It's, I am on a mission to help people never feel stuck again, or whatever it is for you. You're on a mission for something. And that leads right into number 2. The second thing you can do to stop feeling like you're forcing things all the time is to connect with a bigger purpose of what you do. It kind of goes hand in hand, but it's more detailed. If you're not connected to a higher purpose of what you're serving, or if you're doing this just to make money, a couple things are going to happen. 1, you're not going to make more money. 2, people will be able to tell. And 3, everything is going to feel forced. I'm sure you feel that from time to time. If you connect with a bigger purpose of who or what you're serving, content creation just flows from it. It becomes easy. Genius ideas to blow up your business come to you out of nowhere. Leadership gets easy because all of a sudden it's about the benefit of the mission instead of seeking validation. It's very hard for a business to grow if you're focused on what you can get out of the business. It's very hard for a business to grow if you're using it as a tool to seek validation. You need to start focusing on what you can give to the people you want to serve. Please write this in your notes. Service always comes first. The money will follow. It absolutely will, but service must come first. Not just serving people in what you post, but service of a mission. When you truly keep other people's needs ahead of yours, the business becomes much easier. The money will follow. You need to provide concise value above what your company already provides. And by concise, I mean value that speaks to your specific ideal customer. Who is it that you ideally want to serve? The more value you can provide to your customers, the more your business is going to grow. And when you have a mission that you're trying to help people do or become, finding value to add becomes easy, because instead of it being like, okay, well, what does that even mean, add value? You have a mission to flow through, so you can literally say to yourself, what do they need to hear in this moment? What does my ideal person need to feel in this moment? So instead of bouncing between healthy fitness tips and cool mama moments and all these things, making your business seem like you just have a confusing hobby, everything lasers in on that intention, and people will start to find you predictable. And I don't just mean you showing up and posting. I mean that they know that they can count on you for a certain feeling. That's what predictability means. They need to be able to count on you for a feeling. So if you were to go look at my Facebook page, is my mission pretty obvious? Extremely obvious. It's everything I do flows through it. And am I predictable that I'll show up with massive value? Absolutely. I've done it consistently for a very, very long time. And it all ties to my purpose, which is teaching people how to be happy. So when you find what your mission is and you center what you share around that mission, the right people are going to come back. They will. You need to trust that, but service comes first. So take a look at what you really struggled with before joining your business. How did you feel before joining that opportunity? Share that. Identify it and look for the transformation you made or are in the process of making, and let that drive you, because chances are your mission comes from helping people overcome what you deeply overcame. That's your mission, because you can help other people break through it, and that leads right into number 3. The third way you can stop feeling like you're forcing everything is through giving. And a book I highly recommend is The Go-Giver by Bob Burg. Incredibly valuable book about business. Highly recommend it. But what matters is what you give to your business and to those you hope to seek to serve. And by giving, I don't mean the quantity of free content you put out. I mean how much of the authentic you shows up in what you share. Because business is a spiritual game. There are definitely strategies that work, but you need to realize that business is a feeling. All business is people granting you their trust based on a feeling they get from you. That is it. So if you were to look at what you put out there to the world, what feeling do you share? What vibe do your followers get? Is it boredom? Is it excitement? Is it desperately seeking approval? Is it confidence? Is it uplifting? Is it inspiring? Is it confusing because you're bouncing between so many ideas? What feeling do you want to give them, and give them that feeling in everything that you share? And this applies to so much more than just social media. This is your team, your customers, your upline team, your spouse, your kids, everything. People, this is so important, write this in your notes. People will join the authentic you, and then they will learn to love the company. They join you first, and then they will learn to love the company. People will change when you give all of who you are. It can't, and this is vulnerable, right? It can't be, I'm gonna give it everything I have until I have to be vulnerable about my real story. It needs to be all of you. You are inspired by vulnerability. Think about the first time we had a connection, you and I. When you and I first had a connection, it was probably from something deep and vulnerable I shared, or something where you were at a loss and I was sharing something that I struggled with and went through, and you were inspired by that moment, and that's what locked you into coming back to this podcast. You were inspired by my vulnerability. That's what everyone is inspired by, vulnerability. And so if you want to be inspiring, be vulnerable. This is where a lot of people get hung up. They want the thriving business, but they're not willing to share the pain and what they've had a hard time breaking through, or something they've struggled to break through. You need to. It's not like, for example, if your business is in online fitness coaching, I have a lot of clients that do that. If that's your business, a lot of times people will focus on losing weight, or, here are my results, but that's not actually what's going on in your ideal customer's mind. You need to think in terms of, what are they feeling? What are their fears? What's holding them back? And when you do that, so much will change. So think about anytime you've been inspired, it came from a connection to vulnerability. That's where the initial trust is granted, yes? And that's why you're listening to this podcast. You're listening to my teachings because of an initial connection that I made with you that was vulnerable. And from that connection, you felt, between us, trust was formed. That's why you're here, right? So that proves that you're inspired by vulnerability, so you should be vulnerable. And it's so important. Give to the needs of your ideal customer. Give all of who you are to your audience. Give everything you can to your mission, and business will change. So as you come out of this podcast, really start to think, what is your mission? Develop a one-sentence mission statement that focuses on the core of what you're trying to help people feel. That will change the game for you, because everything will flow. You won't feel stuck. You won't have to force things, because what you share will just come out of you when you know what that mission is. Every single day, you can focus on just one question. When you know what your mission is, you can focus on one question. That question is, what does my ideal customer need to hear from me today? And that's exactly how this podcast today was created. I know this is what's going on in your heart and your mind because I went through it. So I focus on, what does my ideal person need? And that's how it flowed from me. Same thing will happen for you and your audience. That question alone can change your entire business and your entire life and your entire finances. What does my ideal customer need to hear from me today? So if you do that and you live from a place of service and mission, the money will follow. So thank you so much for tuning into the Path to Mindset Mastery. Make sure you share this podcast with 3 people that need to hear it today. Maybe your teammates, maybe your entire team needs to hear this today. Share this podcast with them, and I promise you it'll make such a tremendous impact on their life. So share this with at least 3 people. Again, my name is Brad Bizjack. Go out there today and every single day and live your life with a genuine smile on your face, because you can. I'll see you next week.